So the police accept it when they take the job. Coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Conversations Like the Reason. As always, I want to say thank y'all for joining today. Greatly appreciated. So, y'all know that I've often said that, many times that being a cop is a very thankless job. Completely thankless. I mean, as a cop, you do your job every day. You do a good job. You get no praise for it. Absolutely no praise whatsoever. Right? But then as soon as a police officer shoots a black person, it's a possibility that you can lose your job, your pension, your future, and possibly your even freedom. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why police officers won't even do the job amongst black people, but then there would be cried racism. If they call the police and the police officer shoots somebody, a black person, that's racism. They call the police officer doesn't show up, that's racism too. So like I said, just it's a thankless job, and as so many people have said, being a police officer is a calling. It has to be a calling on your life to do something like that. Such a thankless job, and I can't think of a more thankless job, at least in America. I mean, it's just me, but now, of course, the left would say, well, that's what they signed on for. When you accepted this, when you took the job. Well, is this true? Yes, it is true. I completely agree. And this is why I always say that everybody shouldn't be police officers. There's many people out here who should not have a gun and a badge. They're just not capable. They don't have the ability to do so. You have to have a certain temperament to do that job. Because, the thing we need is a person who's a hothead giving them a gun and a badge and a squad car. We don't need that. So everybody can be a police officer. So yes, this is true. When you become a police officer, you pretty much sign on for the job. I agree. However, by that same logic, and of course, I always got to use the logic. When it comes down to the left, you always have to use that theoretical judo. You take their ideas and put them against them, and you win the argument. Now, will you change them? No, they're just going to dodge many of them. It all depends upon the person. But by that same logic, wouldn't the same thing apply to free citizens? Yes, it would. Because with freedom and rights come responsibilities. And as a citizen, people say that cops are held to higher standard. I completely agree. But cops are not held that much higher than citizens with freedom and rights and who have responsibilities to go along those rights. One of the responsibilities is to know everything that the police officer, you're supposed to know the law. So everything that police officers are taught when they go to the police academies, as far as the law goes, a citizen, it is your responsibility, your civic duty to know this. Then this is why we have the expression, ignorance is no excuse. You can't violate the law and say, well, I didn't know, because it's your duty as an American citizen. So you sign on to this when you are a free citizen. Same way with George Floyd. When George Floyd ingested those drugs, many believe, I've heard people believe, including myself, believe that he must have ingested the drugs when the police showed up, because if he is having trouble breathing the way he was, then how did he drive there? How did he drive to the store high like that? I believe that he must have ingested the drugs when the police showed up, and this is why he had enough drugs in his system to kill 3 men. But George Floyd, as a free citizen with rights and responsibility, signed on for that when he ingested those drugs. He killed himself. I don't believe the police officers killed him. So I think Derek Chauvin was railroaded on this in that trial. There was no knee to the neck. He couldn't breathe because he took fentanyl, and one of the symptoms of fentanyl is it'll stop you from breathing, or breathing trouble. And people, I've heard doctors say when they administer the fentanyl to people, they do it under extreme care and watch. Well, he did it while being in a car amongst police officers who are not capable of doing this. And by the way, I know that medical services EMT were called out. But anyway, same thing with what's the guy that also in Minnesota, the guy who was being arrested by the cops, and he pulled away and jumped in the car, and a white female shot him, thinking he had a taser. And everybody wants to criticize the white female because she confused a taser with a gun, which she shouldn't be a police officer. But however, it's his responsibility. He signed on for being shot. You should have never pulled away from the police officer. So with the moment he pulled away from those police officers as a citizen with rights and freedom, and you got responsibility to go with those, he signed on for when he got shot. And he drove off, could have possibly dragged any of those police officers, a black man who was arrested in him. He could have drove off and killed that man. But he drove off a couple of blocks and he eventually succumbed to the bullet wound. But he signed on to that when he decided to resist arrest as a free citizen. So as a free citizen, you have to take responsibilities. And we can apply this to countless of cases. Hell, just on the cases that black people cry about police brutality, we can apply that same logic to. Okay? You accept it as an American citizen with rights and responsibilities. You accept that. Now people say, well, they didn't sign on to be killed by. Well, then police officers didn't sign on for it. It goes both ways. You cannot have it one way. And that's my biggest problem with the left is the damn hypocrisy. Hypocrisy just kills me. That's two things I can't stand is BSing, BSs and even worse, hypocrisy. So anyone who disagrees with me on this, you're being a complete hypocrite. Again, you as a citizen with rights and you have responsibilities. We all have responsibilities. If you don't want the responsibilities, go to China. Go to North Korea, better yet. Right? Go there if you don't want the responsibility, because then you won't have the freedom. Anyway, y'all, this is my 2 cents on it. If the police accepted it when they accepted the job, then the citizens accepted it when they accepted freedom. End of story. But anyway, y'all, as always, until next time.